Hello, welcome to A Moment in Time with Nex. If you don't know me, I go live every single day. I have been live every single day for over 5.5 years straight. I go live on a lot of different platforms and apps with a lot of different kinds of content. Here on YouTube is where I do my live book reviews. I love to read. I read lots of different kinds of books, although nonfiction is my love. I love to read about ways to develop myself, my business, my financial situation, my relationships, my skills. So I love nonfiction. That is where my heart lies. And I'm going to be honest, it is after 2 in the morning here when I'm recording or streaming this, and I'm a little tired, and this is the 4th book review that I've done this evening, so I'm a little book reviewed out, and I'm probably not going to give this book as much love and affection as I could in other circumstances. But sometimes you procrastinate something long enough that you just take care of it and get it done because you committed to yourself that you were going to do it and you put it off till 2 in the morning. So here we are. So my apologies to the author, Miss Brianna Wiest, if I don't give this book as much justice as it deserves. The book is called 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think, and it was a pretty good book. Now, I am spoiled because I read lots of books, especially books like this one, which is about changing your mindset, developing your life, having good outcomes. Hi, Andy, first comment to the broadcast. And I'm a little bit like, I take a lot of the information for granted because I've already been exposed to a lot of these concepts before. So if you're new to the self-help world, this book is great because it has a lot of different subjects that it covers. And this book also is what motivated me to write my own book. I've been wanting to write a book, but this way that she compiled with the 101 essays that are about different subjects was a really cool way of doing it. And there's a few essays in there that are 101 item lists in and of themselves, like an essay that will be 101 reasons you should stop having bad thoughts about yourself or whatever. That's probably not the name of one, but something like that. And it gave me the idea that, hey, I can make a list of 100 things or 101 things. And I thought, okay, let me just do that just out of curiosity. And then I thought, I can do a list of 100 things that I want to include in my own book. And I did that, and it spurred action. And it's causing me to start writing my own book in the same niche, which I have big goals and aspirations for. So I'm excited about that. So thank you, Brianna, for that as well. Brianna. And there are some key takeaways here. So there's a lot of stuff that I have already read about a lot and done book reviews and dove deep into different subjects of. So definitely check out my other book reviews. I have a category called books. That's a playlist on my YouTube channel where you can see all the different book reviews that I've done, where I go in a lot more depth on a lot of these subjects that I kind of gloss over, not just in this review, but also I glossed over while reading the book because a lot of it is repetitive from stuff that I've read before, and there was some repetition within the book. I would also say some contradiction as well, but such is life. I mean, this is the human mind and life that we're talking about, and not everything's gonna be perfectly cohesive and consistent all the time, so no worries there. So one of the great takeaways that I got from this, thank you, Gilbert, one of the great takeaways that I really like and do believe in is that it's commonly taught that if you want to change your life, you need to change your mindset. And there is some truth to that. But she makes what I find to be a very profound point that you can't really change your mindset without changing your life. So she challenges us to change our environment, change our experiences, go out and do something we would never normally do. Try going about something in a different way. Because when we have different experiences, that changes our mindset. Our experiences in our lives are what shape our mindset to be what it is in the first place. So by having new experiences and by pushing outside of our comfort zone, only then can we expand our mindset and change our mindset because we've expanded and changed our experiences. So I loved that. I thought that was really great. Probably my favorite takeaway from the book. Another thing that she talks about in this book that I had actually never heard of before, and I have my bachelor's degree in psychology, I'm studying to become a therapist, and I had never heard of this concept before. So that says something about the general state of academia in the modern day. But interesting concepts are interesting concepts, and I'll take them where I can get them, which is a big reason I read a lot of books for myself, and I'm somewhat of an autodidact, because you can learn a lot more from this type of thing than you can from classical academia, which is so useless in so many ways. But I digress. Okay, so this concept, your happiness upper limit, your happiness threshold. And this is the point at which you're feeling so happy and so good that you self-sabotage to try to bring yourself back down to your normal baseline, your normal state of happiness. So everyone has their baseline happiness, and everyone can go above that baseline to a certain threshold, to a certain limit. And you can raise that limit, one, by becoming aware of it, two, practicing when you realize that you're at it and you're starting to self-sabotage, and then stop. And three, by pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. It's the same thing we're talking about in the previous about changing your mindset. This ties into mindset, your happiness upper limit. By pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, by pushing yourself past that limit, only then can you raise that bar. So this might sound like you don't quite understand what I'm saying, so let me give an example. I was talking to a friend recently, and she was telling me about this guy that she's been dating. She's super attracted to him. He's super sweet, super attentive, very affectionate, really good at sex, and just in all arenas and categories far superior to the man that she recently divorced after being cheated on by him multiple times. And this guy is doing great. Sounds like he's a great guy to be in this relationship with. Yet even just from her telling me about him and saying, oh yeah, I really like him a lot, I'm really excited, she immediately followed that with, I'm trying not to get too attached or to get my hopes up just in case it ends. And I saw sometimes it's easier to see things in other people than in ourselves. I was like, she's at her happiness threshold and she's sabotaging, she's trying to talk herself off of that upper limit to bring her back to baseline because she feels like that's more logical, that's more rational. And she's worried about feeling too much pain if or when she loses this person. And this ties into other concepts, and I'm just going to dive into it because I've been thinking about this a lot lately too, which is this weird pressure of monogamy in our society that goes back to like ancient religions where they got married when they were like 12, and it was all like arranged marriages based on land, and there's plenty of infidelity, and there's plenty of infidelity today as well. But there's this weird pressure that relationships have to last forever. It's okay, in my opinion, if a relationship doesn't last forever. No matter how long it does last, I think it's important to enjoy it while you have it, especially while it's good. Because maybe the person doesn't break up with you, maybe they die. Maybe you die. Maybe work makes you guys have to move apart from each other and you have an amicable breakup and it's not as bad as you're worried about it being. Or maybe they do completely change into a horrible person you don't like. Or maybe they dump you because they don't want you anymore or something. Yeah, that could happen. But until that does happen, enjoy it. Push yourself past that happiness threshold. Go all in. Enjoy that time that you have and don't worry about it lasting forever or by messing it up by being too happy with it or too attached to it. Don't worry about how bad it could go and let that suck the joy of it from now, because that guy probably has to suffer for that, and he hasn't done anything wrong yet. He might never do anything wrong. This simple thing of her not trusting that he's the real deal or that he's really in it all the way could be the reason he goes away. Your self-sabotage could become your relationship sabotage. You could sabotage your happiness just because you don't allow yourself to feel happy enough. So I think that's really important to realize. When you feel like, wow, this day was so good, tomorrow's gonna suck. Or, oh my gosh, it's too good to be true. Those kinds of ideas. Stop sabotaging your happiness. Just enjoy it. Just allow yourself to go past that limit and just soar into bliss, because that's going to raise your baseline happiness up along with that. Because we're going to have downs. That's part of it, right? We're not going to be permanently happy no matter what we do. So let's enjoy it and let ourselves, because, you know, we let ourselves go all the way down into the depths of despair and depression, no problem. So why not let ourselves go to the upper peaks as well, you know? So some of the things that she talks about throughout the book that I'm not going to dive into really deep here, but I will touch on. So if it's something you're interested in, you want to go further into this book or look for other books that I did reviews on that talk about these subjects, you can. Cognitive biases, intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. This also ties into internal versus external locus of control. Habits. The importance of logic and using logic, and why people who use logic have better lives, especially remembering this in a time where passion is very idealized. You know, follow your passion, do what you love, the money will follow. Okay, use logic. Not everything we love to do is worth a lot of money. Not everything we're passionate about is going to pay the bills. So that's great if you do figure that out, and you can definitely use your logic to try to get you there. But don't forget that the one of the most important things you can do as a human is to think and to use your brain. It's so powerful, and it's there. And we have so many like assets, what's the word I'm looking for here? We have so many tools that add on to our intelligence, like Google, like having a smartphone that we can just look up anything. We have access to all the information. Not only do we have information, but our phone stores our memories in photo and video form. We can literally go watch something that already happened in our life again. I mean, that's amazing. Like, that is unprecedented in human history. And that is all a supplement and a tool that we can use for our brains and make our intellect and our ability to use reason and logic and be skeptical and use all of these things that are the antithesis to just passion and going where our gut tells us to go and just flowing with the wind, whichever way the wind blows, and using all of those, remembering how important that prefrontal cortex, that logic and reason part of your brain is. Nelson, hi, I'm doing great. How are you doing? I didn't start out with a great day. I was struggling and feeling very unmotivated earlier, but we're turning that around. We're getting things done. So thanks for asking. Meditation. I actually have a meditation program if you want to get it on my website. Oh, the hiccups. Holding my breath. Embracing change, loving yourself. She talks a lot about anxiety, ruminating thoughts, positive thinking, a lot of stuff we talk about in all the time, really, on the daily. Like I said, I go live every day, so. This is a quote that I really like, and I even made a TikTok/Instagram reel where I said this. The problem is not the problem. The problem is the way you think about the problem. You know, changing the way that you think about something can make you you can reframe it, and maybe it's not even a problem. Or it's only a problem because you allow it to be one, right? Because you're not making any changes. Good, I'm glad you're doing good. Heck yeah. And then another thing that she talked about, and this is really the last takeaway that I have from this book, which is actually a pretty big book, so I would say that maybe I can just chalk it up to being tired. I will say that I'm going to give this book probably 3 stars. It was fine. It wasn't a bad book. It had some good takeaways. It wasn't everything that I had hoped it would be. I'll put it that way. So this is the last takeaway. She talks about how our life is not a novel. It's not a novel that flows in a perfect storyline in a linear fashion. Our life is a book of stories, kind of like the Bible, right? The Bible isn't like all set in order of like, you know, it's not the same characters from the beginning to the end. There's completely random separate stories about different people throughout the Bible that don't really tie into any of the other stories. They're just good stories. And your life is like that. Your past does not have to dictate or influence your future or your present. So just because something you want to do seems way out of character for you or way different than anything you've done before doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it just because it doesn't match up with, this thing that you have going. And just allowing your life to have like segments of like complete difference, and that's okay. I kind of like that idea too. So yeah, that's my book review on 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think by Brianna Wiest. Brianna? I don't know how to say her name. But I also want to tell you what book I'm going to be reading next. It's massive, and I think the sheer size of it has kept me from picking it up. But I've had it for a while. I've been wanting to read it for a while. I might read another one while I read this one. Maybe my next book review won't be on this. It'll be on something else. Because, like, if I'm going to the beach or something, I'm probably not going to bring this beast with me. I might bring a little bit more light reading. For a while, I wasn't getting as many books read as I wanted to, so I started reading whatever the smallest books were. And those books are easy to bring around with me in my purse, so I can read when I'm, like, in a waiting room, or if I get stuck at a train or something. Like, I can read my book in my free time. Someone asked on my last stream, how do you find time to read books? You do all these different things. You make time for the things that are important to you. You can sneak in a couple pages here and there while you're waiting for something to cook or something like that. So I will say the last few books that I've read, although some of them were all right, my brain is hungry. It's really craving like some good information, something that's going to spark me in some different kind of a way. My brain wants to be poked in a refreshing new way. So one of the books that I read previously that I loved was the autobiography of Andrew Carnegie and his Gospel of Wealth. One of my favorites. And this book is called Titan, and it's about the life of John D. Rockefeller. So I believe it's a biography. It says it's by Ron Chernow. So it's probably more about Rockefeller rather than him writing himself, which I really liked that it was an autobiography for Andrew Carnegie. I really, really loved reading that book. So I'm hoping that I'll have a similar experience with this. I like to read biographies, autobiographies of people that were very successful. It's not a matter of agreeing with every single thing they thought or did, or like idolizing them in some way. It's just about learning. It's about learning from other people's experiences, figuring out other people's maybe rags to riches stories, or, whatever kind of biographies of whoever you want to read about. So this is my next one. I'm hungry. My brain's hungry. I'm hoping this is going to tickle it in a satisfying way, but it's going to take me a while to read, most likely, so you might not see a review from me here on YouTube for a while. But like I said, I go live every single day. I go live on a lot of different places with a lot of different kinds of content, so you can just follow me other places in the meantime so we can still hang out and connect each day. Even if I'm live on my Twitch channel and I'm playing a video game, if you want to talk any kind of intellectual subject, come in and comment. It can feel completely out of context. I don't care. I love going on tangents. I love connecting with other intellectuals. I love connecting with other bibliophiles and book lovers and other nerds. And I don't care what I'm doing. I'm almost always in a state to just drop everything and start philosophizing or talking about life or business or finance or something. So don't be shy. Feel free to comment anytime that you see I'm live and with anything you want to talk about. Hi, Art. That is a big book. Yeah, let's see what the pages are. Well, thank you, Gilbert. I appreciate that. Did you just find me today? Or how did you find me? Okay, so it's like 600... Oh, no, that's acknowledgements. See you in heaven. Let's see. Okay, 676. And it's a pretty decent size. I don't really have like a great comparison with it, but it's gonna take me a bit. But yeah, I'm glad to have met any new faces that come in here. Or if you're watching on the replay, you can comment on the replay too. If you're not able to be here live, you can turn your notifications on so you don't miss any live streams. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I would appreciate it. I do have a books playlist where you can find all my book reviews here on YouTube. And then of course you can check out my other platforms. You can sign up for my book reviews emails that I send out every few months that gives a written summary of all the books that I read. I have a Goodreads page. I have an Instagram, like I said, Twitch. I have a new TikTok. My last TikTok got shut down, so I'm trying to get my current TikTok back to 1,000 followers so I can start going live on there again. And yeah, let's just keep doing this beautiful thing we've been doing for 5.5 years. You can also support me financially on the website if you can. I know times are tough for a lot of people right now, myself included, so that's really super helpful to help me to be able to keep doing this if you do find value in the channel. And if you don't find value, let me know what you would find more valuable, and I can try to modify to make sure that I can keep doing this and paying my bills. Oh, you've been following me for a long time? All right, Gilbert, well, I appreciate that very much. I probably won't be live on YouTube too much, so just make sure you're following me on Instagram and Twitch. Those are my main platforms right now. TikTok also. TikTok's my favorite place to stream right now, but I don't have enough followers to stream on there on my new account yet. I'm hoping we hit 500 today, but I don't have my phone here to check, so. I'm gonna go eat some pizza and rest and come back tomorrow refreshed and with all of these book reviews that I've been procrastinating for months finished and behind me, and we're gonna move into this big mama. Okay, I love you guys. You are worthy of being loved and feeling comfortable in your own skin. Expreme diem, squeeze the day. This has been a moment in time with Nex. Bye, Jose. Nice to meet you, newbie. Good night, guys.